Yeah.
Hi! So today I wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences studying Japanese, and maybe a little bit of advice. Now I'm not really going to tell you the best way to learn Japanese because honestly that's kind of a personal thing. There are some methods that are, I guess, better than others, but when it comes down to it, it should be something that you want to do, because if you don't want to do it, then you're going to get bored of it and you're going to get burnt out. You don't want to do it anymore. When learning Japanese, you should consider how you learned English. Now, of course, everybody went to English classes when they were little, even if it's your native language, because you still have to learn how to read it and write it properly and to, you know, I guess, be educated in the language. But you also learned it outside of class by just speaking it, you know, with your parents or watching on TV or absorbing media or reading. And with Japanese, it's the same way. There are some things with Japanese that you just have to, you know, put your nose to the grindstone and study, like hiragana, katakana. You just have to study it. I mean, there's really no other easy way to do it, and it's the fastest way to do it. Kanji is a little different. Kanji, in my opinion, the best way to learn that is through context. And that's how most people use kanji, right? They don't... I can't really comment on the Japanese education system. I don't know how they learn their kanji. But if they learn their kanji one by one with meanings and readings, that's certainly not how they use it. You rarely ever see kanji isolated. And it's always in compounds, you know, or words. And if you learn the kanji in compounds, in context, then you not only learn the readings through repeated exposure of different usages of that kanji, but you also learn vocabulary that's used with that kanji and how that vocabulary is used. So that brings me to my next point. One of the best ways, in my opinion, to learn Japanese is to read. And I'm sure this is probably true in just about any language, but reading is a great way to learn the language. Now, it obviously won't make you a great speaker, and it won't necessarily help with your listening skills, although it indirectly can. But the first reason why it's good is because you can study kanji and vocabulary in context and understand how it's really used in the language, not through your native language, which is how you learn the words by using a dictionary. But if you read it in a book, say, then you learn how it's naturally used in the language, and you won't have to translate between your native language and Japanese just whenever you want to use the word. Not only that, but it's a snowball effect, right? And when you first start out learning Japanese, it can be really hard to start reading, especially with little kid stories, mostly because of vocabulary. It's even little kid stories has vocabulary you're not used to. But once you get to a certain point where you can feel confident in reading Japanese at an appropriate level, where it's challenging enough where you can't know every single word, there's some words missing, that is a great place to start because, like I said, it's a snowball effect. You can get to the point where when you read, not only do you see how a word is used based on the context surrounding it, but it's also very easy to pick up new words that you've never seen before. Because they'll be surrounded by words you already know, and based on the context, maybe the scene of the story, the dialogue going on between the two people, the emotions, or whatever, it's very easy to pick up new words. And that, in my opinion, is key, because then you're learning the words in the native language, and you're not using a dictionary, and you're not translating from English to Japanese. I mean, let's face it, when you speak English, you're not translating from another language to English. It's just natural you say it. Similarly, when you're learning Japanese, you want to get to the point where you can speak in that language and think in that language. And a great way to do that is by reading, because then you learn words in their natural context and in their natural usage. Now, what are some good things to read? To be honest, manga. You know, most of the word usage in manga is everyday stuff that you hear, at least the vocabulary, you know. And the great thing about manga is that they put furigana next to every single kanji. That is, they put the reading of the kanji in hiragana next to every single kanji. So it's a great way to learn the readings and the meanings. Now, apart from that, obviously listening, you know, you can just, whatever your favorite thing is, if you like dramas or TV or movies or music, maybe not music so much, or news, podcasts, whatever, anything you can to absorb it. Speaking practice, if you don't live in Japan, it's probably harder to get the speaking down. You can always look for groups online or Skype or something. But if you live in Japan, then obviously that should just come naturally. You'll find friends who are Japanese and you'll speak Japanese to them. If you think about it, the way you learned English was through... I had it planned out in my head exactly how I wanted to say it, and it was really good. When you learn English... Okay, now, there's one thing you'll notice with Japanese, and it's that some parts of your Japanese are more fluent than others. If you think about it, why is that the case? And I can almost guarantee for you this is also the case. The parts of Japanese that you are more fluent in are parts that you have either studied more or parts that you have used and heard more and just been exposed to more. So one would naturally assume then that the best way to learn Japanese is to use it, be exposed to it, and to study it. I mean, it's just 3 simple recipes. I mean, there's really no secret to learning the language. You just have to be exposed to it. You have to study it, and you have to use it. Those, in my opinions, are the 3 best ways to learn Japanese. And it sounds really simple, and that's because it is, but so many people seem to miss the point and get caught up in gimmicks of how to learn the language. You know, should I buy this study material? Should I watch anime versus drama? You know, it doesn't matter. Just whatever you can do. Which brings me to my next point. I hear a lot of people get frustrated with the fact that they are in what's known as the intermediate phase of learning a language, and they're not in the advanced phase of learning a language, and they just can't figure out, you know, oh, I've been an intermediate learner for so long. When am I going to become an advanced learner? When am I going to reach that advanced stage? And the problem with that thinking is that there's never a point where you just cross from intermediate to advanced. You're not going to wake up one day and all of a sudden realize, wow, I'm an advanced speaker now. I all of a sudden know Japanese on an advanced level, whereas yesterday I didn't. And it's not even a period over several days. It's a period over months, I would say, even years. Because it's the same way if you want to go from an amateur to a pro. It's a long road that takes a lot of steps in between, and eventually you get to a point of diminishing returns, where the more effort you put in, the less you get out. But instead of wanting to attain an advanced level, in my opinion, the goal you should have is to improve. Because going from, intermediate to advanced, let's face it, those are really subjective. Those are really abstract ideas. Who can really quantify what it means to be an advanced learner? Is it how much kanji you know? Is it how well you can speak? Is it any number of other things? That can be a very subjective thing. What isn't subjective necessarily is improvement. Do I know more today than I knew yesterday? Can I speak a little better today than I could yesterday? Do I understand one more grammar point than I did the day before? Is there another kanji I can read today that I couldn't yesterday? Stuff like that you can easily quantify, and it builds over time, and eventually you will just get better and better and better. There's never a point where you cross from intermediate to advanced. It's just you get better and better and better and better. At one point we just completely forget about these types of distinctions of intermediate and advanced, because in reality there isn't a hard distinction between intermediate and advanced, because it's not a smooth it's not like a quick transition. It's a very smooth transition over long periods of time. Actually, it's kind of funny, because one of my friends just said, she said, I swear to God, every time I learn a new kanji, it pushes 2 old ones out of my brain. And you might find that happens to you, but that's not necessarily a problem, because you're going to forget things. It's inevitable. The thing is, if you see it again, and the more you're exposed to it, the less likely you are to forget it. So, yeah, once you can start retaining more and more kanji, not necessarily learn them, but retain them, then you can start gauging your improvement. Intermediate to advanced, don't worry about becoming an advanced speaker, advanced learner, whatever that even means, Just worry about improving your Japanese. Because if you improve your Japanese, if that's all you concentrate on, and you're successful at that, you improve your Japanese, it's inevitable that you'll reach a point where you become fluent, where you reach your goal of whatever it is, becoming, fluent enough to watch your favorite movie or whatever, or have a conversation, or survive in the country just as well as you can in your home country. Because if you think about it, it's taking you as much your entire life to be as proficient in your native language as you are now. I mean, you're constantly learning new words in your, maybe not constantly, but still, over time, you're learning new words, new things in your native language over time as you get older. Now again, there are diminishing returns, but still, you're always learning, and you're probably changing your style of writing in your native language, or whatever. But yeah, main points today to take away from this, and this might not be what you wanted to hear. Maybe people wanted to hear like some super secret way to learn Japanese, but really it's just expose yourself to it, use it, study it, and just concentrate on improvement. Don't worry about reaching some abstract level that, you know, nobody can really quantify. So that's all I wanted to say today. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.